It's the weekend and you have financial questions that need answering. That can only mean one thing. It's time for Jill on Money, the show that takes the mystery out of your finances. Here's your host, Jill Schlesinger.
Welcome. It's the Jill on Money Show. We are here answering your financial questions. The way we do that is we ask you to do a little bit of work, just a little bit. I know you're a little overwhelmed. It's only January, but all you need to do is if you've got a financial question, maybe a new job offer's come up, maybe you're thinking about school for your kids, maybe you're at a new house, maybe you're wondering whether or not you can actually retire, just go to jillonmoney.com, click the Contact Us button, and write us a note. And if you'd like to join us live, just check that box, and producer Mark, the best producer in the entire world, he'll do everything else. And isn't that just Marvy? While you're on the website, don't forget to sign up for the free weekly newsletter, which comes out every single Friday, and it's a great tune-up for this program. And also check out all of our other content that lives on the website. There's blog, there's a video section, there's also resources, all there for you. Just bookmark jillonmoney.com. Let's get the program started. We've got Donna, who's on the line from Indiana.
Okay, well, I'm retired for 4 years, and I'm trying to determine when I should begin withdrawing from my 401k. I live on a modest pension, and I intend to take Social Security in 2 months. And just in hearing you folks talk and talking with others, I'm concerned about this sort of looming, required minimum distribution that I will face at age 73. So my 401k is my biggest retirement asset. And I just want to know if I should begin drawing down on that in order to kind of mitigate any tax consequences.
We love this idea. So Donna, how old are you?
I'm 67.
Okay, great. And single, married, partnered?
Divorced, yeah.
Okay. Kids that are grown?
Grown kids.
Okay, and they're on their own. You don't have to help out.
I do have a disabled daughter that, lives with me, and I will be trying to provide in some way, for her.
Can we just table that for a second? I'm going to come back to to your daughter in a moment.
Yes.
Because I think that's a whole separate conversation, and it's an interesting one. Okay, so your pension amount that you're living on right now, how much is that?
$2,000.
That's all? You only need $2,000 a month to live on?
Well, I really beefed up my savings, and I've withdrawn from that as I've needed to. This is a fairly low cost of living area, I've managed that. I don't even how I have really.
So your Social Security that you plan to start in 2 months, how much would that be?
$3,400 a month.
Have you checked what it would be if you waited until age 70?
It would be in the fours. I'm just very concerned about the political climate, and I know you kind of poo-poo that, but
it's not that I poo-poo it in general, but I think that for all intents and purposes, I think it would be highly unlikely that there would be changes that impact anyone over the age of 55, let alone over 65. But I hear that, and maybe it doesn't really matter anyway. Okay, so I get what you're saying. Yeah. So if you look at how much you really spend, you said $2,000 a month for the pension, but you're pulling some money on an ongoing basis, or just for big stuff from your savings?
It seems like I float along, and then I went to Hawaii in November, so I kind of moved some money around, and it's really kind of if a big ticket item happens,
a car, a big trip, or whatever.
Yes.
Okay. How much do you think that is? Like if we had to extrapolate that over the course of a year, $10,000 a year?
Yeah, I think I spend about $3,000 to $3,500. I was just kind of doing back of the envelope math and looking at my bank account. I'm like, okay, do I really spend that much? But it kind of.
Oh God, I love that you think $3,500 a month is that much. So congratulations, well done. All right, let's talk about this 401k that has not yet been taxed. How much money is in there, Donna?
I think, where did I have my notes? I think it's $813,844.
I don't need the extra dollars. All you guys make me work so hard. I'm putting 813,000. Okay. Then do you also have an IRA, a Roth IRA, anything else that's
Yeah,
retirement? Yeah. Tell me about that.
I have a Roth. It's at 128,000.
Uh-huh.
Employer stock at 54,000.
Any restriction on that employer stock? I mean, it sounds like you're retired, so you can
Yeah,
take that when you want.
I'm very unsure of that. I don't know if it's already vested. I really kind of have to look into that.
Usually, I will tell you, usually when you leave that your stock vests.
Okay.
Okay. And is that in that stock, I presume, has that been granted to you? In other words, has it been taxed yet? Do we know?
I don't know, I guess.
Okay. So we need info. I'm going to
Yeah.
just make a note. Need info. Okay.
Yeah.
So the employer stock, need info.
Yes.
And it's a publicly traded company, right?
Yes, correct.
Okay. Got it. Next. Okay. So we got the brokerage. What do we got there?
217,000.
217,000. Okay. What else?
An I bond at 11,000. Checking and savings at 58,000.
Great. And do you own a home?
I do. It's paid for.
What's it worth?
Probably 310, I would guess.
Okay. Planning to stay there, or is there any potential?
Yes, I
Okay.
might downsize just because, at some point I don't think I'll even need 3 bedrooms, but
Mhm.
I'm here for indefinitely.
Okay. So now I just want to circle back to there's no other assets, right? There's no rental property or anything
No.
floating around. Okay.
No.
So here's my question to you. Your daughter, you say she is disabled. Is
Mhm.
she entitled to federal benefits? Is she an adult who gets federal benefits?
So she can drive, she works. It's not a living wage really, but every time she's applied for Social Security, she's been denied because I think she has a pretty decent work history. But she does.
How dare she?
Yeah, she does get Medicaid. So
Okay, so she qualifies for Medicaid.
correct.
Have you done any planning around her with a special needs trust, or is that something you have not done yet?
My sister is a estate attorney, so
Oh, good.
yeah, she's helped me put together my will and trust. I
Hmm.
don't know if it's characterized as special needs. I mean, everything is in trust. My son is the heir, but we would have to sort of in the background deal with her, I guess I'd say.
Well, do me a favor, just, for fun. Ask your sister, have we created a special needs trust for the daughter?
Right.
And all this does is it kind of cordons off some money for her, but it does not make her ineligible for any Medicaid benefits.
Okay.
So it may be it's not necessary if you leave everything to your son and let him divvy it up.
Mm-hmm.
But it's worth asking the question. That is something that is kind of an interesting possibility.
Okay.
But again, we'll just ask that question. We'll get back to Donna in just a moment. If you've got something cooking in your financial life, need a little help staying on track with those financial goals or resolutions, give us a holler. Go to JillOnMoney.com. We'll be right back.
Back to Jill on Money, where Jill Schlesinger helps you take the mystery out of your finances.
You're back. It's Jill on Money. Let's get back to Donna from Indiana. We have 8 years before you have to take money out. So you're worried that this is going to grow because you're not tapping any of your 401k right now, right?
Right.
So you're like, okay, it's going to grow to $1 million or more, and then they're going to force me to take it out. So have you thought about pulling money out in the near term and maybe even delaying Social Security while you pull some of the money out? Have you thought about that?
I mean, I guess I'm looking to you for just some insight about
Mm-hmm.
what the best route might be.
Because I know what you're going to tell me. I just can tell you're a very frugal human being.
Yeah.
So I have this distinct belief that you're going to tell me that you don't want to pay for more for your Medicare if you start doing this.
Oh yeah,
correct?
That bothers me. I mean, and here my position is that we'll pay whatever needs to be paid, but I'm trying to just see how can I spread this out. I mean,
you. So
I'm
right now,
17
wait a second.
17
But wait a second. You are. Let's just think about this. So right now, you have 25 grand a year in taxable pension income, right?
Right.
You've got some money that is generated from the brokerage account, right?
Yes.
So, but if I looked at your tax return, bottom right-hand corner, do you have any idea what the number is?
Yeah, yes, last year I had adjusted gross income of 32,700 and then taxable income of 17,000.
Okay.
So 12%
okay.
tax bracket.
So obviously, if we wanted to start pulling money out of the account, some money out, and we pop you up to the 22%. I mean, you're going to go to 22% as soon as you get Social Security anyway, right? So that's number one. So then let's think about this, that for IRMA, so gang, remember, income-related monthly adjustment amount, IRMA.
Mm-hmm.
If you are single and you make less than $103,000, that's like your magic. That's your first tier of IRMA, meaning that's where you pay what you're paying now, which is I think about $175 a month, right?
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
So the next level is if we go up to this is like 129,000. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And that means you would pay an extra $83 a month. That's an extra $1,000 a year. That seems to be like a no-brainer. An extra $1,000 to start getting the money out seems like a no-brainer to me.
Yeah.
But if you want to be really conservative and you say, I hate IRMA, I refuse to do it, Jill. Okay. If we said you're going to take out $50,000 a year from your 401k, just going to take it as a distribution.
Mm-hmm.
If you do that, I think we stay just underneath the IRMA surcharge limit. Now, you have to be very careful because it's a cliff. So if you go over by $1, you're screwed.
Right.
Okay. But if we did that, okay, well, that's fine. We could take 50 grand out and you could do it probably this year because you actually have a year to do this. Like you could do, I don't know what your taxable income looks like for this year, but you could do it for your age 67, 68, 69, 70. So you could do it definitely for 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
And then you could take that money out and then you can start collecting Social Security and you can kind of see how it goes. The issue, Donna, is that we don't know where tax rates are going. I don't think that it's necessarily going to be the worst thing in the world, but I'll tell you what, if you got $1.5 million and all of a sudden you're forced to take required minimum distributions, let me tell you, you are going to pay IRMA.
Right.
There's no doubt about it. So the question is, do I pay a little bit of IRMA right now, start to get some of the money out, stay under, say, 129,000, right? Again, please be very careful about this because of the cliff that occurs. So if that's the case, then you take out 50. If you decide you're willing to pay the $83 a month, which I don't think is that bad, but okay.
Right.
If you decide that, you can go up to $129,000.
Mm-hmm.
Let's call it 125 so you don't drive yourself crazy. And you can take the money out, make sure your adjusted gross income stays below that 129 and it's all good. And then you're pulling money out every year. At age 70, and by the way, you can use some of this money to live on, right?
Right.
And you don't have to worry about saving you're using your checking savings. You just live on some of this money and it's all good. And then at age 70, you're going to start collecting Social Security. Now, the real question will be once you're
really trying to talk me into delaying it, huh?
Well, I think if you don't want to delay it,
but
then let me just say, if you want to claim right now, what you're going to have to decide is whether you're willing to pay a higher IRMA amount right now to get money out of your 401k. Because obviously, if you claim right now, all of a sudden you have, let's see. So you have right now you have like 50, and then you're going to have another, what did you say, 3,400 a month.
3,400, yes.
So, you're going to be pretty close to paying IRMA anyway at $83 a month. Would you be willing to pay an extra $200 a month to go, pull out up to, let's see, for single, this is 2024, so this will come out, but it's modified adjusted gross income. So do you work with an accountant?
I do not.
This may be one year you want to like at least start, or you want to play with these numbers if you're doing it yourself. But your modified adjusted gross income could go up to 160 grand. Okay. So you could say, okay, I'm going to get my normal income, my 32.7. I'm going to add back in my taxable, distributions from the brokerage account. I'm now going to have my Social Security, and, let's say that together is 80-ish for you. Okay. Then you have to make a decision. Well, okay, I want to pull out, let's say 70 grand from the 401k, pull it out. Now I'm in the IRMA category where I'm paying $208 a month, and I'll live with it because I want that money out of the retirement plan so that I'm mitigating future IRMA payments.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
I think so. Yeah.
All right. Now, the question that I have for you is, in doing this, tell me a little bit about what's inside of the brokerage account, because I'm kind of intrigued by the tax, whether there's some, because maybe we can mitigate some of the taxable income from there. What do you own in there?
Actually, it's across 3 different accounts. One I have at Vanguard, and that's pretty much, 70% total index fund, and then 30% I like a bond fund, kind of that way with all 3.
Okay.
So
and there's no losses, there's nothing on there, right?
I don't think so.
The only other thing that I would do is that if you plan to take the distribution from your 401k, you could do it one of 2 ways. You can do it monthly. I would do a lump sum. I would just get the money out of there.
So 50K.
Yeah.
Okay. Starting this year even.
I would. Well, your income is low this year, right?
Right. Yeah.
So we know that you're, in fact, this year, if you're going to claim Social Security next year, and your income is only, 50 this year, I might take out more this year. I might take out, at least 50, but maybe we have to see it's hard to know with your income, but 50 at least.
And Jill, what funds would I start taking that from? I'm not really clear about that.
So you have a 401k, or is it already an IRA rollover? How have you managed?
It's the 401k. And
what do you have in there right now? What funds?
So I have like a target date 2030 of 40%, stable. It's called stable value 4%, fixed income 4%, U.S. stocks 26%.
Just take it out of the target date. I would take the first chunk out of the target date. Every year, you'll just take some money out. Mark, do you think that Donna has decided to delay for her Social Security until age 70? What is the answer?
I'm taking the under.
I think I'm taking the under also, but that's okay. Nothing will change in her life. But go talk to your sister, ask her about the Special Needs Trust, and claim your Social Security and start pulling some of the money out of that retirement account. And don't be afraid. You pay a few taxes. It'll be fine. It's Jill on Money. We'll be right back.
Do I invest here? Should I put my money there? Jill Schlesinger can help you. Back to Jill on Money.
Welcome back. It's the Jill on Money program. We are here trying to help you make better, or maybe just less bad, financial decisions. If there's something going on in your life and you'd need a little assistance, maybe guidance, maybe a little mentoring or coaching, get in touch with us. Go to JillOnMoney.com and click the Contact Us button. And write us a long note if you're going to plan on just making that your email. If you'd like to join us live, could be a little shorter, but don't forget to check the box, because that's how we know to get back in touch with you. Right now, let's talk to Joe and Caroline. They are joining us from Buffalo. What's going on? How can we help you out?
Well, I'm 62. I'm looking at trying to retire early. I've still got an ex-wife to pay for another year. Figuring on paying her off and maxing out my 401k again. Work for another year and then try to call it quits.
Okay. So you've got one more year of alimony, and then are you saying when that's done, then you're going to max out your retirement account, or you're already maxing out retirement?
Nope, already maxing it out and planning on maxing it out again next year.
Okay, great. How much money's in that retirement account, Joe?
Depends on which one you're looking at. All of them put together, including my current employer and taxable account and an inherited IRA.
Wait a minute. Just I want to do it. I want to have it separated a little bit. I'm sorry to be a pain in the neck. So taxable account, what's in there?
Taxable account, $337,000.
Okay. Inherited IRA.
Only $6,000.
Okay. Now, current retirement account.
From my workplace account, $526,000.
Okay. And what else you got?
A rollover IRA from a previous employer. That's at $1,036,000.
Okay. Very nice. Okay.
And then a Roth IRA at $132,000.
Wow. Got a lot of moolah, dude. And the current retirement account is pre-tax, right?
It's yeah.
Okay. So that has not so the Roth 132. So you got basically $1.5 million that hasn't been taxed yet.
Correct.
In retirement assets. And then we got the taxable account, we got the inherited IRA. Wow, that's great. Money in the bank?
Yeah, about $110,000 in the bank.
Okay. How about a home? Do you own your home?
Yes, I do, and it is paid for.
How much is it worth?
Probably about $350 to $400, somewhere in that range.
Once you retire, are you going to stay in this house, or are you going to move?
Actually, well, considering the New York state of tax.
Calm down with that. We're the ones who pay for you guys upstate. Just quit your griping. Gosh, if I had a nickel for every upstate person who complains about taxes, we pay the burden. Thank you very much. All right, I love you. Come on, Joe. Come on. So you're going to move, is what you're saying.
Looking at it as a definite possibility to someplace that's a little more tax friendly,
like
and a little nicer weather-wise.
So what does that mean? You're going to move to Florida? You sound too cool for Florida.
No. Maybe, targeting places like maybe West Virginia, Tennessee. Actually started looking at areas in Mississippi.
Oh, my God. You're from New York. Are you sure you can do this? This is like a big culture shock.
It's a stretch.
It's a stretch. I'll tell you what you're not going to get in any of those places. You're not going to get buffalo wings. I'll tell you that right now. Not going to get like you're used to. Oh, you have the answer. Girlfriend Carolyn, are you on board for this move?
I am on board for this move.
Okay.
Yeah, I can work remotely. I'm fully remote now, so that's not an issue for me.
So you're not planning, Carolyn, you're not planning to retire anytime soon, or are you?
I'm not sure. Sure. I think it kind of depends on, where we land financially, whether or not it's a one-person retirement or a two.
Okay. And Carolyn, can I ask you lots of annoying, probing questions? How much do you earn right now?
I earn about $125,000 a year.
Okay, that's great. And how about your savings? What have you done for retirement or non-retirement? What's squirreled away in your world?
Not nearly as much as Joe.
Well, that's why he's a good catch.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. I mean, that's the only reason.
That's the only reason. Yeah. I have about $125,000 in my 401k.
Okay.
And I have probably about $50,000-$60,000 in the bank, and different forms of cash, just earning 5%. So
good. That's great. That's good.
No debt though.
No debt. And do you guys live together, or do you own your own home also?
I sold mine and we moved in together about a year ago.
Oh, nice. How's it going? He's on the line, so it'd be nice.
Very good.
Okay, good.
Nope.
So for you guys,
by the way, Buffalo Joe has a pension.
Oh, Buffalo Joe, wait a second. What's the pension situation?
Okay, so what I got left of it after the divorce.
Oh my God, the crying. Oh, it's high taxes. You're happy you got the greatest girl in the world. She's on board for you moving to freaking West Virginia, for God's sakes.
Hey, it's nice motorcycle country down there.
All right.
So pension, if I have to take it. I have to start taking it at age 65.
Mm-hmm.
It would be worth $16,764 per year.
All right. So it's a nice thing. That's great, right? All right. That's good. How much do you guys spend together?
I know personally myself in the house, just about $35,000 a year.
Okay.
If you tack on her expenses and the like, probably another 15 to 20.
Yep, that's about.
Yeah, let's say that sounds right. So let's say it's let's say 60 grand, because you guys are going to live, you know what I mean? Like, you're young, you're healthy,
Absolutely.
You're happy, you want to travel, you want all that stuff, right?
Absolutely.
Okay. Joe, you're 62. Carolyn, how old are you?
I'm 52.
Oh, a younger gal. I love
know.
that. All right. Very good. Make sure he stays in good shape.
Absolutely.
Do you guys have kids from your previous relationships?
So I do. I have children, but they are grown up. And
they're okay.
Yep.
Okay. That's wonderful. We'll get back to Joe and Caroline in just a moment. If you'd like to get in touch with us, just go to JillOnMoney.com and click the Contact Us button. It's the Jill on Money Show. We'll be right back.
.401ks, IRAs, refinancing, she covers it all. Back to Jill on Money with Jill Schlesinger.
You're back. It's Jill on Money. Let's get back to Joe and Caroline. What's the ideal scenario here for you guys? So, meaning, would it be if in the next couple of years, let's say that you, not this year, so we're talking the end of 25, right, Joe, for it to be done? Or is it the end of 26?
It would be the end of 25, beginning of 26, or any time thereafter. Probably hang around and get my year-end bonus and stuff like that.
Okay. So, I mean, you're squirreling away quite a bit of money, I imagine, because you don't have very high expenses and you guys make a bunch of money together. Joe, what's your income right now?
A little over 170.
Yeah. So, I mean, you're making a lot of money. So we need to generate for you $5,000 a month or $60,000 a year, right?
Right.
So let's think about this like sort of methodically. You will get at age 62, 65, you will get $1,400 a month. That's the pension. What's your Social Security benefit look like, Joe? Do you know what it is at age, say, 67 or 70?
Yeah, at age 67, it'll be $44,784 per year.
Okay, so 45,000. Why are you making me work so hard? And what about 70?
I do not have that.
All right, don't wait. I'm going to just use the 45,000. Okay. So we got you at $3,750 a month. Okay. So just to like kind of make this nice and easy for you, between Social Security and your future pension, and when you're 67 years old, you will have pre-tax. This is, I understand this is taxable, but about $5,100 a month in income that's guaranteed between Social Security and your pension. And, you know, I know that we probably need a little bit more money than that because you have to pay taxes on it, but you're there. So you're in great shape. It really is. You're in a fantastic situation. I think that, Carolyn, if you were like, you know what, I want to be done when he's done, or, you know, you can choose to work basically, if you'd like, you know, you can basically say, let's move someplace. I'll keep working till we get settled. Let's see. Cause you don't know. Maybe you want to have something to do while you are moving to a new place. But to me, there's like a great staged process here for the next couple of years. So next year, let's say, you finish off the alimony, you max out your retirement. You then have this $1.5 million. So from age 62 to age 67 or 70, but basically 62 to 70, 63 to 70 rather, you'll start pulling money. This is important, Joe, out of your retirement accounts. This is a kind of a tricky thing because you hate paying taxes, but especially if you're living somewhere else where the tax, if there's state income tax is lower, this is just a great idea for you because your income will be really, really, you'll have no income until age 65 at least, and you'll be in a lower tax state and you'll start pulling money out. And you could pull money out. You could pull out, I don't know, like you're used to paying tax at a 24%. You could pull out 150 grand a year and take that out of your retirement account that hasn't been taxed yet and do that until you claim Social Security. And I would encourage you, unless you have bad health, but you might want to wait till you're 70, but you'll pull that money out, you pay the tax that's on it, and you're going to live on it. And then as time goes by, you're going to have to keep taking this money out, right? We're trying to get the money out of your retirement account before you are forced to do so by the government. Because if you don't take any money out between now and age 75, your distributions that will be required of you will be massive. So just to put this in perspective, Mark, could you do me a favor while you're there eating your bonbons? Take $1.5 million and grow it at a very modest 6%, 6%. And then tell me in 13 years how much money will be in that account.
That would be 3.2 million.
Okay, which is so much fun, right? Okay, so Joe, what happens, let's say you're at 75 and this is not an exact science, but I'm going to tell you what it looks like to me is that if you do nothing with these accounts, you will be forced to pull out about $130,000 in that very first year when you're 75. And that money has to be taxed. So what we would like to do is make sure that it doesn't grow to 3.2. We want to start pulling money out now when we know that you're not collecting Social Security, even before the pension. So let's just get the money out so that we're not compounding this problem. Does that make sense to you?
It does to some extent. I guess in one of my thoughts was, and maybe you can provide your thoughts on this, if I'm showing little or no income, does it not make sense to convert some of that from the 401k into a Roth? Sure.
You could do either, but we got to get the money out.
Right.
And so one way or another, we need money that you're going to live on, right? So that is one part of why we want to take the money out. You could essentially, again, you're saying you need about 60 grand a year. If you pulled out 100, let's say you pulled out 80 grand from the account and then converted the rest, that brings you up to the top of the 24% or the 24% bracket, right? Which will be about 200 grand next year, I guess. You're single. And so, yeah, I mean, you can do a combination of using the money to live on and converting, both. Either one and both could work. But all I do know is we need to get that money out of that account. It's the Jill on Money Show. We'll be right back. Welcome back. It's Jill on Money. Let's conclude our conversation with Joe and Caroline.
Would it not make more sense to try to stay in even a lower bracket and spread that Roth conversion over a number of years?
You may be able to just, because you're single. If you marry this lady, Miss Carolyn, it'll change. But if you're single, the 22% bracket, it stops at 100 grand. any combination of that is fine, but I do think that 24 is about as good as you're going to get. And I would try to either pull out or convert as much as possible. I mean, look, the converting is nice because then it's a Roth asset and it's just, you guys are not going to spend all of your money. If you decide that you would prefer, like if you're going to get married, or even if you don't get married and Carolyn is the beneficiary of your Roth, that is a much better asset for someone to inherit than a traditional IRA, because then the tax is already paid, right?
Right.
I feel very comfortable about this plan. Have you guys done estate planning for one another? Meaning that it's one thing that is not problematic, but challenging is that if you're not actually married, then you have to be able to tell the government where your money goes, and you have to plan it very specifically for both of you. So have you done that yet?
I myself have a will.
Yep.
I believe that Carolyn is going to be working on one soon.
Yes.
There you go. Exactly. You just have to put it down on paper. And, make sure, it's also weird. Sometimes I am not I'm not a person who's like, I don't want to be an alarmist, but sometimes it is weird if you're not married, like making a healthcare decision. Like if Carolyn, you said to me, oh, you know what? I want him to pull the plug, and you have children. You got to put that down on paper, because otherwise they're going to have that choice. And if you don't think they can really do it because it's too emotional, put it down on paper.
That's a very good point.
Yeah, I know.
And
Let's think about those. Yeah, exactly. If you'd like to get in touch with us, just go to JillOnMoney.com and click the Contact Us button. It's the Jill on Money Show. We'll be right back.
It's the weekend, and that can only mean one thing. You're listening to Jill on Money, the show that takes the mystery out of your finances. Here's your host, Jill Schlesinger.
Welcome back. It's the Jill on Money Show. We are here answering your financial questions. If you've got one, just go to our website, JillOnMoney.com, and click that Contact Us button. While you're there, don't forget to sign up for the weekly newsletter. It comes out every single Friday. Okay, let's get this hour started. We are talking to Jeff, who joins us from Florida.
Well, Jill, I have a little bit of a life change going on. I just moved down here to Florida, and next year, my partner and I are looking to potentially get back into the real estate market. I haven't been in the market since 2020, and I didn't have a lot of success. So trying to think of whether or not we want to try to work on paying off some debt, saving for retirement, or maybe going and grabbing a home.
Okay, let's get the rundown. Jeff, how old are you?
I am 42, and my partner is 37.
Okay, kids or no kids?
No kids.
Okay. You guys now live in Florida and rent?
That's correct. We got down here about half a year ago, and we wanted to rent and kind of check out the market before we moved too quick.
Okay. Will there be any children on the horizon, or is this a definite we're all set?
We are. I think I heard you say this last week. We are dinks, Jill.
Yes, double income, no kids. Thank you very much. Okay. How much do you guys earn in terms of your salaries?
Well, our income should be about $250,000 next year.
Wow.
Yep. We're doing pretty good. My partner is brand new to her field, and she got a much higher paying job than she's used to. So we're kind of working through that as well.
Oh, congratulations to her. That's great. Okay. So if you were going to think about real estate, do you have any idea what it would cost you to buy something that you'd want to live in?
Yeah, so I guess where we're a little different than maybe your average listener is we'll probably be using a VA loan.
Okay.
Which the nice side of that is we don't really have to put much down.
What is that, 3% down or 5% down?
We can go as low as 0, believe it or not.
All right, let's try 3%.
Yeah, we're gonna try to put something down, but the other side of that is one of the reasons we're using that loan is because we haven't really had a lot of time to store up much for a down payment.
Okay. Do you guys both contribute to retirement accounts?
I have been contributing to my account, and we are getting her started just now.
Okay. How much money do you have saved in retirement?
Between my workplace, I have a thrift savings plan. So between that and my IRA, I have about $275,000.
Great. And are those both traditional accounts or are they Roth accounts?
About 70,000 of that is traditional with 200,000 in Roth.
Oh, good. That's the right direction. Excellent. What about money outside of retirement?
So there is about another 300,000 in taxable brokerage. And then
nice.
There is about 40K in cash laying around.
Okay. What will her retirement plan be? Is it a 401k? Is that what she's entitled to?
So right now, all we have is an IRA for her. And she will be entitled to a 401k, but she hasn't been at the employer long enough yet.
How much is in her 401k? I mean, her IRA, sorry.
15,000.
Will either of you be entitled to a pension?
I will.
You will. Do you know
Yes.
about how much? Like, just give me a little of the basics.
So let's just, I don't really know how to value these, but for simplicity's sake, I will get about 40 to 50% of my final income. So like in today's dollars,
Yep.
just because my employers are a little weird, in today's dollars, that's about 55K.
Okay. All right. That's a good number, though.
Yep.
And will that 55K, will you also be entitled to Social Security or not?
I will.
Do you have an idea, Jeff, how much you guys spend right now, including the rent?
To include rent, we're at about half of our income. We're at about 125,000.
All right, you're living large, dude. And if we looked at putting down 3%, okay, what kind of house would we have to be financing? I'm just trying to see, like, can you afford it on a cash flow basis to buy?
So,
in other words, right, like if you're going to spend, if you're making $250, you're saving some money, you're putting money into your retirement, she will put money in retirement. We don't want to snuff that out. But what would we have to pay for a house that you'd want to live on?
Florida, obviously, higher property taxes and higher insurance costs.
Oh, yeah.
So all in, we're looking at about an additional $1,500 a month we would have to spend in order to have a mortgage rather than be renting.
That's not so bad. You guys can do that, right?
Yeah, I think so. I'm a little concerned because I feel like right now we're kind of floating on even. So I'm still trying to run a budget and figure out why we're floating on even because
you're spending $125,000 a year.
Right.
Sorry to be obvious. Sorry to be
okay.
so obvious. But also, you said she's new to her field and you'll be making more money than you have been making, right?
Yes.
So that's a big thing. Are you sure you want to buy, considering you just moved down there? Like, what if you're like, ugh, I hate this. Like, you might want to go to a different community or whatever. You know, is it possible that you might move around? You said you've moved around a lot.
Yeah, and that's one of my concerns is on the horizon. So my industry is up or out, and I've probably got 3 years with a pathway to move up in the area, or else we will have to move.
Interesting.
Well, I'm renting for 3 years.
I am too. I feel like maybe we should put this on ice for a bit. Okay, so here's what I'm thinking, Jeff. So right now, you've got a lot of change in your life, okay? And are you maxing out your retirement contribution into the thrift savings?
I am, and I'm also using a backdoor Roth.
Okay, so that's great. So let's just presume that you keep doing that. and she'll start using her 401k when she's eligible, right? Is there anything else that you have? Like, is there any other debt or anything that's floating around? I thought you said debt when we first started talking. Is there debt?
There is. There's about $88,000 in student loan debt.
No. I say
Yes.
no. Damn it. Okay. What's the interest rate on that debt?
About 6.5%.
Okay, I think I know what I want. I think I'm sort of thinking this through on the spot, right? And I want you to consider this.
Sure.
You haven't been making 250 grand for a long time. It's just very brand new. I really think putting a purchase on the back burner makes a lot of sense. We'll get back to Jeff in just a moment. If you'd like some assistance or a little guidance, just go to JillOnMoney.com and click the Contact Us button. We'll be right back.
Back to Jill on Money, where Jill Schlesinger helps you take the mystery out of your finances.
You're back. It's Jill on Money, the program that attempts to take the mystery out of your financial life. Right now, let's get back to Jeff, who's on the line from Florida. I guess what I wanted to know was, you said you have a taxable brokerage account of $300,000, right?
Correct.
Is that yours? In other words, it's not a joint account.
Correct. That's mine. And
Are you
the
going to
reason
make this person? Are you going to make this person a honest woman and get married or not? Shh, she doesn't listen.
that may be on the plan.
Okay. In that brokerage account, would you consider selling 100 grand out and paying off the student loans?
Oh, that'd be hard. So
I love
Jill,
her not that much.
so here's the deal. I will probably, I'm not a fire guy, but I will probably be forced retired from my my job at about 50.
Okay. So we got
I will
8
have
years.
Right, about 8 years. I will have my pension will kick in right away. I won't have to wait for it, but I don't have a ton of outside marketable skills, so I'm expecting a pretty large pay cut when I move on from that.
Okay.
So
All right,
that's what
fair
the
enough.
brokerage is kind of for.
All right. So it's like a supplemental, like that's like your bridge, right?
Right.
And please, God, tell me that this mother-in-law who's coming to visit has a lot of money. Does she?
Oh, that would be great, wouldn't it?
Oh, really? Well, you really have chosen incorrectly on this one, Jeff. Let me tell you. All right. Will your partner have to take care of her mother or not?
Probably. I don't think there will be any financial obligation if that's where you're going.
Yeah, that's exactly where I'm going. So I have she's young, right? She's 37.
Mhm.
She has big cash flow right now.
Mhm.
I think that what we need to do is kind of get you guys more firmly established in your financial future. So here's what I'm thinking. I need you guys to track your spending for 90 days. Don't do it now. It's Christmas, starting just 90 days of tracking where is this money going. I want to know how this 125,000, because it's not a huge amount of money, but considering she hasn't been making has not been making as much money recently, that I'm interested. So we need to track that. Okay. So I think there's sort of 3 priorities that I really would consider. So one is, you have, 40 grand in cash. We need you guys to have an emergency reserve fund between the two of you that can cover 6 to 12 months of your living expenses. See, we can't really do that we can't even figure out what that is until we actually understand what you're spending, right? So then number 2 is we need her to really try to get a jump on that student loan debt. 6.5% is a real number. So let's say that you run through all of your numbers, you look at what you're spending, and you say, okay, we have $2,000 a month to something, right? Between her retirement or funding obligations. I would have her start with, say, an 8 or a 10% contribution to her 401k, and all the rest of hers has to go to paying down her student loan debt. She needs to get rid of this. Okay.
Okay.
And then the third thing is to continue to save money in retirement. And for you, I mean, I don't know if you're going to really run your lives separately or not, but that there's also that tending to the brokerage account so that you can create a bridge for yourself. So maybe that you're forced to retire at 50, and then you have, you give yourself a good year that you have available to you to figure out what happens next.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think it's emergency reserve, debt pay down, retirement, and supplemental retirement for you. And then I think that it may be, let's say in 3 years, you figure out there's something different on the horizon. I think that then you reconsider the housing market. And the only reason I would actually change that is if you were presented with a great opportunity that you could get into the housing market in a way that's affordable. Meaning that if you were looking at this in, let's say, 3 years, and you're like, okay, we're staying in this town in Florida. We love it. She's kicking ass. Her career is amazing. When I look at the numbers now, we've whittled down the debt, like all that stuff is like clicking along, and you could potentially add $1,500 a month to your cash flow and still do everything else. Yeah, great. But until then, I don't think it makes sense to take the plunge. I think you're putting a lot of pressure on yourselves. I think that you're in very good shape. You've done a really good job of saving. She's kind of really starting the beginning process of getting her financial life going. And together, I think you're going to do a great job of saving for the future. I would be concerned that a house is a little bit of a bridge too far. Mark, do you agree? Am I crushing? Listen to me. I'm crushing Jeff's Christmas Eve desire to own a house. But what do you think, Mark?
3 years, it's not a long time. It's going to fly by, and you'll have you'll be in a much better position. The student loans will be reduced. You'll have more money saved. Maybe you can put down more than 3%. You'll just be coming at it from a stronger position.
And I invite you to come back on the air with us and do it and have this conversation. And we'll know a lot more about your partner's life also and her work life. For all we know that like in 3 years, she's like, hey, you might say she's like really doing well. And you're like, hey, our combined income's $300,000 now. Does that seem okay to you? So emergency reserve, debt pay down, retirement, and for you, that supplemental bridge account, that brokerage account. Those are the 4 things. I would prioritize the first 3 very specifically because you already have the $300,000 in the brokerage account. But having an emergency reserve that can cover 6 to 12 months of your living expenses, she really starts to focus on paying down the debt more aggressively. She begins to contribute to her retirement account. You continue to put money into the brokerage as you can, and you table the conversation about a house unless something falls in your lap and it's such a great deal you have to call us back.
Okay. Can I real quick?
Go. Not even quick. Go for it.
So the brokerage I've obviously been trickling into for a while now. Would you take the extra money that's been going into that, at least for the immediate future, and start applying it towards those loans for a bit? Sounds like that's what you're saying.
Yeah, I think a little bit. I don't know. I feel like that debt level it's not like an insignificant number. I think it will be. I'd love it to be under $50,000 before you started to really ratchet up your brokerage. You've got 8 years, right? Till 50.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So maybe in the next year or two, if we could start to push that student loan debt down, if the blank hit the fan, you do have money, you have that brokerage account, the brokerage account will keep doing what it's doing. But I think that there are certain aspects of this game plan that you could sort of keep juggling the way you're doing it right now, but we have not laid a firm enough foundation for you. That's what I think. So I would like that debt paid down, even at the expense of the brokerage. I don't want you to lift I don't want you to lift your foot off the gas of the retirement contribution. I think that's good. But listen, you're going to have income. She's going to keep making money. So it's all going to be very good. but I want there to be, again, a firmer foundation for you.
Love it.
Yeah? You good? You feel
Yeah.
good? Oh, wait a second. Your partners, you may get married, but do you have like your estate docs done?
Oh, I knew you were going to ask this question.
Oh man, don't you hate it? I'm so like annoying.
Yeah. So we're doing
If you
all the transfer on death and beneficiaries. What I
Okay.
really need to do, and life insurance is covered.
Okay.
What I really need to do is go back in and get my will updated.
Yeah. If either of you has it as a benefit, it's a wonderful benefit to use, like legal services. It's great.
Mm-hmm.
So I would encourage you to check that out. And look, if you get married, it becomes easier. If you don't get married, it's fine. But if you don't get married, making sure that you're appointing her as the person who makes a decision on your behalf is incredibly important, because I don't trust the state of residence, whether it's Florida, New York, or whatever, to make the decision that is consistent with exactly you want to do. If you've got a financial question, all you need to do is go to JillOnMoney.com. We'll be right back.
Do I invest here? Should I put my money there? Jill Schlesinger can help you. Back to Jill on Money.
Welcome back. It's the Jill on Money Show. And if you are just tuning in for the first time, welcome. We're so happy to have you. This is a show that is focused on you and your needs. And if you've got something going on in your life that remotely touches your money, we'd love to hear from you. Just go to JillOnMoney.com and click the Contact Us button. While you're on the website, you can also subscribe to our sister programs, our two podcasts. One is called Jill on Money and one is called Money Watch. So check those out. Okay, right now we are going to chat with John, who joins us from New Jersey. Hi, John. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Doing great. What can we do for you?
I just retired early at around 57, and I have saved a lot and have various accounts, and I'm sort of trying to decide where the best place is to keep cash for our yearly budget. Whether it's good to sell from our brokerage account directly from, our index fund,
right,
or it's better to put that cash into a high yield savings or something like SGOV, which is a 0 to 3 month treasury that's basically like a high yield saving.
Right. So tell us a little bit about yourselves, because you said we. So you're 57 and you have a spouse?
Yep, she's 57 as well.
And is she also retired?
Yeah, she left about a year ago from her job.
Okay, great. Do you have any income? Do you have pensions, either of you, both of you?
Nope.
Okay. So what you've done is you're retired and you're basically living off the money you've saved, right?
Yep.
Okay, so let's do a drill down of these accounts. Tell us what you have.
In our brokerage account, mostly indexed, other than some cash in SGOV, it's about $2.2 million.
Okay, great.
And then in a Roth, we got really lucky and did a mega backdoor Roth when my company allowed it. And so now there's about 480,000 in there.
Okay.
And that's all in stocks, or I should say indexes and a couple individual stocks.
Okay.
And then again, got lucky and sort of missed the bond crash. And in our IRA is about $2.2 million of a bond ladder, a 10-year bond ladder. And that's treasuries.
All right. That's great. How much money do you need to draw to live on?
So that's the good news, is that it's about 162,000, about a 3.3 to 3.5% withdrawal per year.
Okay, so everyone listening, if you don't know that term, basically you're pulling out about 3.5% of your total investments on an annual basis. And that's fine. You're going to be that should be no problem.
Sure.
Do you have some kids?
Yeah, we have one kid who's living in New York City, and she's, not a dependent. And then we have a college-age daughter who's a junior right now. But that's all, we have no debt at all.
Okay. How much is your house worth?
Between probably 1.4 and 1.7.
Do you have a mortgage?
No.
Okay. And that's the only house you have, right?
Yep.
Okay. The bond ladder, I want to understand this a little bit. Are you fully invested and then the interest is just flowing into a money market at that point?
Yeah. So the interest is going to be, so we're just starting to draw off everything next year.
Okay.
But yeah, all the interest from the bonds flows into a money market that I sort of immediately put into SGOV again, which is just, it's very specific, but it's a 0 to 3 month treasury fund that's, not very interest rate sensitive. And it's been really great while rates are high. I think it's still yielding about 4.9 to 5%. I know that will go down if the Fed
it doesn't matter. It could be in a money market or this thing. Who cares?
Exactly.
So here's my question. How much is in there right now?
Total is about, in the brokerage is about 380,000. So it's about 390,000.
Okay. And so the first bond matures when?
2026. I'm counting these SGOV as like almost like 1 year bonds. So I'm not really counting those.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So when that bond matures, how much is in each of these now? A couple $100,000?
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. And so presumably you have the money to live for next year, right? You have the money from the brokerage account that's already there. And then when each bond matures from the IRA, maybe what the best way to think about that is you pull out that money, you pay the tax that's due on that 200, and you live on it. That maybe the idea might be for the next 10 years to get all the money out of that pre-tax IRA bond ladder.
Interesting.
The reason why I kind of like that is this might allow you to kind of you don't have to do a conversion. You just live on the money. It's already done. It's like sort of like you've done the hard work. It's like, wow, we have the bond ladder. It's done.
Can I ask you a question about that?
Yeah, sure.
So, so my plan was, and I read way too much and listen to you constantly and Ritholtz in general.
For you.
So, and I love finance. Our plan was to spend from the brokerage account and then do some Roth conversions every year, until we're about 70, take that money and do a roll, the interest, do a rolling bond ladder while we're also doing the conversions. Wait a
second.
Yeah.
Isn't that a lot of work for the same outcome?
Well, I don't think so. And I'll tell you why, because we're going to be using the ACA in New Jersey.
Yes. Because
we're kind of in control of what our adjusted gross income is going to be, our MAGI.
Yeah.
We can get quite a bit of subsidies by keeping our income pretty low.
Mm-hmm. So you mean until Medicare?
Yeah, exactly.
We'll get back to John in just a minute. If you've got a financial question, it's just as easy as a few clicks. Go to JillOnMoney.com and hit that Contact Us button. We'll be right back.
.401ks, IRAs, refinancing, she covers it all. Back to Jill on Money with Jill Schlesinger.
You're back. It's Jill on Money. Let's get back to John from New Jersey. What is the benefit that you get? What's the premium? Like, what's the cost differential?
Like right now with Cobra, I'm paying a fortune. So it's about $2,300 a month. I consider that a lot of money.
Whatever.
When I looked and when I started doing research today, because again, I'm nuts and I try to stay on top of this stuff.
Yeah, sure.
For a family of 3 making about $120,000, it would be about $850 a month. And to tell you the truth, my income is about 40 or 50, through dividends from that brokerage account. So I would take the other $60,000 and use it towards taxes and conversions, and also withdrawals from the IRA, to get up to about 120 grand possible.
But what is it if it were more than 120? Like, where does it, do you know how much, I'm just trying to figure out if we're like, wonderful, but if you're telling me it's like, well, it's $1,200 a month and we're talking about saving $4 grand, I'm not sure I'm that interested in it.
Yeah.
So do you know what the number is?
I don't, because I capped it at 120, but New Jersey has up to 600% above the poverty level. They start doing subsidies, but I think the maximum I would pay is probably like $1,200, $1,300, which is still $1,000 less than I'm paying. But there's a lot of levers to pull and a lot of math.
I get what you're doing. I don't know why I'm a little bit more concerned about the IRA building up. And I mean, how much are you spending on an annual basis, really? Like your after tax, you said 3.5% withdrawal, but what's your actual spend?
Yeah, so it's about, before taxes, I would say it's anywhere between, let's say $13,500 a month. And that's conservative. In other words, we don't necessarily spend that, but we're not against spending it, and we'll go away for, for like a month or two even. But we live below our means, and we always have been, not for any special reason.
Okay, so I'm just going to tell you, like, your math might be slightly better. Your scenario and your math might be better. I feel like this is a ton of work, and it's a pain in the ass. I mean, like, you can do this. And yeah, I mean, it is possible that you're going to save $6,000 a year.
Yep.
And that's great. I mean, but dude, this is what you want to do. This is like, if you do, great, go for it, manage it, have fun. It's fine. It's fine.
Okay.
The risk that you're taking is you are wrong about tax rates and where you guys land ultimately.
Yes.
Okay. And so that's not a terrible risk. It's not. It really isn't. I couldn't be bothered. Isn't this terrible? I'm going to admit this to you. I could not be bothered for this $5,000. I mean, for considering you're worth over $5 million, more than that, if you include the house, but like you guys have $5 million invested, and I'm going to jump through hoops for $5 grand a year. Okay. Have fun. But I much would rather get that money out of that IRA account, know that it's coming out, know that you have control over the tax rate. There's no way that you are going to be paying, I think, like later in life. I don't think you'll be paying, 22%. I think that like rates are going to go up. Everyone's going to pay more in taxes. You're young. And I'd like to get that money out. But if you want to do it and you want to like play the game, and it is a bit of a game, I get it.
Yep.
And then try to manage it, you're going to be optimized up to your tush. You're going to make it. It's going to be great. I cannot do that. It is like, I can't for myself, but I get that you can. And there are people like you that are far wiser than I am about my money. I'm lazy. I just want to be like, well, how can I live my life and get the money out, control the tax situation? Boom. You may actually be able to do both. You really might.
Yep. I love doing it. I have to say, I know it's crazy, and I was in a creative job for 30 years. So it's nice to sort of, I like the analytical part of it. So, but I think you're right. It's, great is the enemy of good, but I don't mind trying to be great.
I want you to be great. I love it. Do you guys have your estate docs done?
Yes. Yeah. We have long-term insurance. We have.
Great. All right. Then you are great. You're greater than I. And I am boring and lazy also. If the market were to crap out, and it's going to, you're young, so you're going to have another 50% wipeout someday.
Yep.
You just are. And if you are comfortable with having, the money in index funds and stocks, and that mostly works for you, and I think that you'll end up scaling down risk-wise because, you're young now, but you have decades in the future, so it's fine. But one of those powerful bear markets is going to spook the crap out of you.
Yeah.
Because as you get older, it's scarier. It just is. So, even so, I think you're great. There's it will be hard for you to screw this up unless you started spending like 20 grand a month.
No.
Then you could screw it up.
Right.
But I think you're in good shape.
Great.
I really do. John from New Jersey, just make sure you dot all your I's, cross your T's, have your estate documents done. Don't get too aggressive with don't let that spending balloon, and have fun qualifying for any sort of help that you can get from the great state of New Jersey. God knows you've paid plenty of taxes, so I have no problem with it. I think you're in good shape, and don't worry about if you don't do it, it doesn't work out quite right, or you have to pay a little bit more. It's not a big deal. You already just said you're paying $2,300 a month for Cobra right now. It's going to go down by $1,000 at least.
Great. Thank you so much.
All right. Good luck to you. If you'd like to come on the air and join us live, just go to JillOnMoney.com and click the Contact Us button. Don't forget to check the box, and Mark will do the rest. We'll be right back. Welcome back. It's the Jill on Money Show. And before we conclude the program, just a few reminders. Everything that we do, all of our content, lives on our website, JillOnMoney.com. So there you will find not just the free weekly newsletter, you'll also see a button that will give you the option of joining our subscription service called Jill on Money Live. So for $45 for the next 12 months, you will have access to quarterly live webinars, the back catalog to all the webinars that have taken place, and also videos that we are putting up behind the paywall. Now we're going to start doing some extra audio as well. Mark and I were just talking about that. All for $45 for the next 12 months. You can check it out. That's Jill on Money Live. Before we conclude the program, let's take an email. This is from Kara, who writes, I'm wondering if I should transfer our $100,000 emergency fund from our high-yield savings account at American Express at 3.8% to our Schwab brokerage account and invest it in VUSXX at 4.37% and also avoid paying California state tax on the interest. Or is this splitting hairs? VUSXX is the Vanguard Treasury Money Market Fund. The interesting thing that you put in there about not paying state taxes, I just looked at the bottom of this and it said income generated from investments in repurchase agreements with the Federal Reserve are generally subject to state and local taxes. So it may not be that you would avoid paying California tax on the interest. It's not exactly splitting hairs. It's, maybe spinning your wheels a little bit to get an extra 0.5%. But if you want to do that, that's fine. To check out all the rates that are available to everyone out there, just go to depositaccounts.com or bankrate.com. I think you might find some good deals still. Well, that's it. That's the program. Remember, all of our content lives at our website. That's JillOnMoney.com. So check that out and just bookmark it. Our music is composed by Joel Goodman. Mark Talercio is our executive producer and Web King. And we ask you to lift someone up. Change your work, change your wealth, change your life. Thanks for listening. We'll talk to you next week.